Hello friends, in this video lecture we are going to learn about the reliability allocation. So in the previous video lectures we have seen how to find out the reliability of a particular component. Then when those components are being used in the systems, then how to find out the reliability of the system. But this is not the always case in the engineering applications, because what will happen if a system is given to you, or if you want to design or manufacture a particular system. Then in that case, actually we have to first of all imagine or evaluate the reliability of the system, or there will be a target for you to manufacture a particular system with a particular reliability. Like for example, if you want to manufacture a mixer with reliability of 90%. So reliability of mixer is 90% means we have to make the reliability of each component of the mixer such that when all those components of the mixer put together to form a configuration will results into the reliability as 90%. So it means that when we have the target of the system reliability, then we have to allocate the reliability to its elements. Okay. So therefore to do that we have different methods to allocate the reliability. Now, why we need to allocate the reliability? So already we just discussed that we will have the target of system reliability, and on the basis of that we have to allocate the reliability to individual components. Okay, such that the system will have the targeted reliability. So in this particular video lecture we are going to learn about two methods, very important methods, and altogether very different. First is equal apportionment technique, and second one is feasibilities of objectives method. So in equal apportionment technique, what we have to learn here, that if a particular system we don't have any idea about the reliability or the complexity of the components. So if suppose the complexity is more, obviously then we have to provide more reliability, and if the complexity is less, then obviously we're going to give less reliability to that element, because reliability is also getting affected by the costs. If you put more cost, the reliability obviously will be more, and if you want to produce the component with high reliability, we have to put more and more amount. So therefore then we have to go for the optimum reliability, right? So therefore if you don't have any idea about the complexities of the component, then we go for equal apportionment technique, and we assume that all the components are working independently and will have the same weightage and put in the series configuration. Okay, so already we have discussed many things about the equal apportionment technique. So in the absence of definitive information on the system, other than the fact that n subsystems are to be used in series, equal apportionment to each subsystem would seem reasonable. So what will happen here then? We'll find out the nth root of the reliability of the system, and then we'll allocate that reliability, that is nth root of the reliability of system, to each component. So how this will work? So we'll see with the help of the equations, then you will definitely understand what is the meaning of equal apportionment technique. For example, if we have R star as reliability requirement of the system, reliability requirement of the system, and then we have to find out the reliability for each component in the system. Let us assume that there are n number of subcomponents of the system. So for I equal to 1 to n, let us assume. So n components are there, right? R star is the reliability requirement of the system. So therefore Ri star is the reliability requirement of ith component. So I will vary from 1 to n, right? Therefore, if the components we consider the components are to be in the series, then the reliability of the system is obviously equal to the product of the reliabilities of all the components. So R star must be equal to product of all Ri stars. So reliability requirement of first component into reliability requirement of second component and so on if you have n number of components, right? So therefore then this R star can be allocated to each Ri star using this particular equation. So therefore then Ri star, obviously from this equation we can write this equation, then Ri star equal to R star raised to 1 by n, right? So nth root of R star, so this is only we discussed on the last slide, nth root will be allocated to each element or each component of the system. Okay, so we'll solve one problem to understand this particular system better. So consider a proposed communication system which has consist of three subsystems: transmitter, receiver, and coder. So three elements are given which are assumed to be used in a series, and those are working independently. So assuming each to be equally expensive to develop, what a reliability requirement should be assigned to each subsystem in order to meet a system requirement of 0.729. So it means that this is your reliability requirement of the system which consists of these three components which are connected in the series. Okay, it means that now we have to allocate this reliability over these three, such that when you connect these three elements together, we'll have the reliability of the system equal to 0.729. Okay, so therefore, then reliability requirement for transmitter RT star must be equal to R star equal to RC star. So that's why this is called as equal apportionment technique. So these three reliability requirements we consider as equal. So that must be equal to R star raised to 1 by n. So therefore 0.729, how many components are there? 3. So 1 by 3. So cube root. So cube root is zero point 0.9. It means that we will allocate to each subsystem the reliability of 0.9. So when you will put these three systems in the series, then you can see then the reliability of the system will be equal to 0.9 into 0.9 into 0.9, right? So obviously it will yield 0.729. So that was our requirement of the reliability of the system. Okay, so that's why we have to allocate each element as zero point 0.9 reliability. Okay, so this is that simple. Therefore reliability requirement of 0.9 should be assigned to each subsystem, right? Now second method. So what we have seen here, as we didn't have the idea about the complexity or the weightage of each component, this may happen that the weightage of the transmitter may be more than receiver. In that case we must allocate more reliability to transmitter as compared to receiver. Okay, in that case we cannot allocate equal reliability to each component if you have the weightages or the requirements of individual component. If you have, then in that case we cannot allocate equal. So therefore in that case, if suppose if you have idea about the weightages, like first component is more complex than the second component, or first component is going to work more for more time than the second component, it means that the first component should have more reliability than the second component. So in that case, how to allocate the reliability? That is on the basis of the weightages. So therefore, to tackle such kind of problems, we have another method, that is feasibilities of objectives method. Feasibilities of objectives. So we have the objectives of each component, right? For what those components are intended to work. That is nothing but your objectives. So as we have the objectives, then we can easily find out the weightages of individual component. Then we'll use those weightages to calculate the reliability of individual component of the system. So in this feasibility of objectives method, we consider four different factors. So first factor is system integracy. System integracy means what? the number of parts that particular subsystem consists of. If suppose the subsystem consists of more number of parts, then obviously it is more critical. If it is more critical, then we have to allocate it as number 10. More the critical, more the number we have to allocate. So in this method, we allocate each subsystem a rating between 1 to 10. 1 is for the least integracy and 10 for the most integracy. So we have to allocate the number between 1 to 10. In the same way, the second factor is state of the art. So in the state of the art, we have to again allocate the number between 1 to 10 only. The least developed design or method will have value 10 and the most highly developed method will have value 1. Why this is so? Because if suppose the system is already very developed, it means that we don't need to allocate more reliability to that. So therefore we'll allocate it as number 1 or between 1 to 10. If it is having very less state of the art, it means that it is going to be critical. So therefore we are going to allocate more number. So towards 10 we have to allocate the number. Okay. The third factor is performance time. If it is going to work for more time, obviously then we have to allocate more reliability to that. So it means that if the component is working for the entire mission, so 100% mission time, then obviously we have to rate it as 10. And if suppose it is going to work for very less time, then we can allocate 1 or 2 or 3 like that, right? So these numbers will be given by the experts of the systems. Then another fourth factor, the last factor, is environment. In which environment those components are going to be used. If the working environment is very harsh, then we have to allocate more number. And if suppose the working environment is very friendly, then we have to allocate the one. Okay, we may allocate between 1 to 10 also. Now to understand the way we find out the reliability in this particular method, we are going to solve one problem so that it will become very easy. So just before that, then we'll get such kind of equations. So now here lambda is nothing but the failure rate. Now in this method or this particular method, use the failure rate and it will allocate the failure rate. See, allocating failure rate or reliability is one and the same. So failure rate, if you see, the reliability is equal to 1 minus failure, right? Or reliability plus failure, that must be equal to 1, or failure rate must be equal to 1 minus reliability. So there is a direct relation between failure and the reliability. Okay, so if you allocate the failure or reliability, it is one and the same. It means that if you want to allocate the reliability as 0.9 reliability, it means that we are allocating failure rate as 0.1 because addition must be equal to 1. Okay, so in the other example, suppose if you want to allocate the reliability as 0.85, it means that it is same as that you are allocating the failure rate as 0.15. Okay, our addition must be equal to 1. And if you want to allocate the failure rate as say 0.23, it means that we are allocating the reliability as 0.77. Okay, addition must be equal to 1. It is one and the same. So lambda represents the failure rate. T represents the time for which the component is going to work. Right. Now these equations are seems to be somewhat difficult to understand, somewhat difficult to remember, but see, very simple. This equation is important here. So this particular equation will give you information about the weightages. All the weightages must, or the summation of all the weightages must be equal to 1. We have to allocate the weightages. Okay, so we are going to solve one problem, then you will understand how these equations arrived and why we have written this equation in this particular form. Okay, so we are going to solve one problem, you will understand it very simply. So the problem is a system consists of the following 6 subsystems: propulsions, ordnance, guidance, flight control system, structure system, and auxiliary power system. So when you combine all these six, then it will become a particular system. So these six are the subsystems of a system. Now we have to allocate the reliability, or we have to actually we have we the target we have is zero point 0.9. Target we have zero point 0.9 for the system reliability and for 120 hours. Okay, it means that up to 120 hours the reliability must be equal to zero point 0.9. Okay, of the system which consists of these six subsystems. Okay, now we have to allocate this reliability among these six subsystems such that when you put all these subsystems in the series, then you will get the system reliability as zero point 0.9. Okay, so as we have seen that the reliability, so there is a simple relation between reliability and the failure rate. When the failure is exponential, RT equal to e raised to minus lambda t. The meaning is that reliability of a system up to a particular time t is equal to e raised to minus lambda t. So lambda is failure rate. So now we have to allocate the system reliability as zero point 0.9. Okay, for 120 hours. So t is given 120 hours. Then we'll find out the value of lambda. So we'll get the value of lambda equal to um, 878. Lambda as 878. Okay, the value of lambda is 878. Uh, Basically, you are going to get the value of lambda is equal to 0.0000878. The value of lambda is 0.0000878. But we are going to write this lambda in terms of per million, per million hours. Okay, million hours. So therefore you will get 878 per million hours. Okay, just multiply by million. So you will get the 870. This value is same as of this. Just multiply this value with the million. You will get 878. Now it means that now we have to allocate this failure rate among the subsystems, six subsystems. Okay. So once you do that, then we can easily find out the reliability of each component, right? Or each subsystem. Now here, what you have to do here then, for these four different factors we discussed, uh, system integrity, state of the art, performance time, and environment of each subsystem. Okay, so we'll gather this data from the experts. From the experts, we'll gather this data, right? Okay, for each subsystem, subsystem, and we are going to write these values over here in these particular columns. So propulsion, system integrity, it has 50 or 5 means 50 percentage weightage. For state of the art, it has 6 points, performance 5. So you can observe here, ordnance has performance time 10. It means that it is most critical. It means that this ordnance is going to work for 100% of time. Environment, but it has a very favorable environment. So that's why the number is 2. Okay, so that way. So this is how then we can allocate the numbers, or the expert will allocate the numbers. Once you gather this data, next work is yours. Okay. The next column is this. So we have to um, write this particular column. Okay, as a reliability engineer. Overall rating. Overall rating means what? Simply multiplication of this. Okay. For propulsion, 5 into 6 into 5 into 5. That yields 750. Okay. In the same way, we are going to multiply these weightages. You will get the overall weightage. Okay, for ordnance, for guidance, for flight control you will get, for structures you will get, for auxiliary power you will get, right? So we have got now the overall ratings. Next step is find out addition of all these. You will get capital W dash K. Okay, individually is called as small W dash K, and the total is capital W dash K. It means that this is the total weightages, and these are individual weightages. These are individual weightages. Then we can find out this column, that is complexity C dash K. Now you must be understanding what is this C dash K, W dash K we had written over here on these particular slides. Again, you can come to this slide and then you can observe these values. Okay. So Once you get this complexity, see how to find out this complexity. So this is complexity means what? The percentage of complexity over the total. It means that we have 750 weightage out of 7720 for propulsion. Then 840 rating over 7720. It means that this value will get using this equation 750 divided by 7720. Then 840 divided by 7720 is 0.109. 25700 divided by 7720, you will get 0.324 this way. So you will get the rating for all, the complexity rating for all. And obviously this addition must be equal to 1. This addition must be equal to 1. It means that we have got the weightages of individual subsystem. Okay. Now we had 878 total failure rate. So we had seen here. Okay. 878 failure rate. So therefore multiply this 878 to each individual complexity. So this is multiplied by 878, you will get 85. Okay. You will get 875. Again 0.109 into again 878, you will get 96. 0.324 into again 878, you will get 284. This way you will multiply by this lambda 1 to all these complexity levels, you will get these values. Okay. 85, 96, 284, 255, 73, 85. And obviously this addition must be equal to 878 because this addition was 1. So multiply by 878, you will get these values. Addition must be equal to 878. It means that we have allocated the failure rate to individual component. Okay. Failure rate to individual component. So once you get this failure rate, see 85 is the failure rate, 96 is the failure rate allocated to the second, that is ordnance. 284 is allocated to the guidance, that way. Again we have R of t, okay, or you may write here R1 of t is equal, that must be equal to e raised to minus lambda t or minus lambda 1 t. Okay. Now we can easily find out the reliability of individual subsystem using this equation. Just put these lambda values. These are lambda values. See, these are lambda values. Lambda I. So this is lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4, lambda 5, lambda 6. So then R1 equal to e raised to minus lambda 1 t. So we have 120, t equal to 120, lambda 1 equal to 785, lambda 1 equal to 85. Put these values over here only, simply you will get the values of reliabilities. Okay. So then again we can add one more column over here, RT. That will be nothing but your reliability requirement of individual component. So this is how we can make use of the weightage methodology, that is also called as feasibilities of objectives method, to allocate the reliability to the individual subsystem in a system. Okay. I think you must be understanding this. So thank you for this watching this particular video. Thank you so much.